for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine, maybe a bit breezy this afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see a high of around 68. Tonight, we'll see clear skies to go along with the breeze. Otherwise, we'll see a low around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. That wind will continue. We'll see a high around 68. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. This is the happy hour. Did that sound go over?
It did.
Yeah, that's Terrell's headphones for you. There's Terrell's headphones. Welcome in. It's the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico hanging out with you guys as usual. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
How's the day?
Great. You know why?
Why?
This is my last week being 29.
Okay.
29?
And you're happy about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know it's my birthday on Saturday.
Well, are you trying to make people say happy birthday to you?
No, I'm trying to make people bring me gifts for the entire
There
week.
you go. That's it. There it is. Rico, always an ulterior motive.
100%.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951 are at your disposal. A lot of interesting things from Matt Rule today.
So I'm going to be honest with everybody for like a real quick second. If you're watching on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, our cameras are going to go down real fast because it's a little laggy. So I'm going to restart it in the middle of this. I know it's like a bad time, but I just
there you go. Stay on the stream. We're going to reset everything. But while Rico does that, once again, 402-464-5685. A lot of interesting things from Matt Rule. Just got back from Memorial Stadium about, 20 minutes ago or so. And there were some comments that were made involving Nebraska's offense and the third down play that everybody's freaking out about. And I want to make sure we get this quote correct. So I'll try to pull it up as quick as I can here. This is what Matt Rule said on Chubba Purdy's interception. He said, quote, "I take responsibility for that. It's a great play call." He then went into kind of the play call and what was supposed to happen. And he said, "It just wasn't quite executed. When it comes down to execution, it falls on me. When you look at the tape, it looks really, really bad." He then continued by saying, quote, "Everything falls on me. To be on the headset, the ball is on the 5-yard line, ... If it's wrong, it's on me. Let's just leave it at that." He said, "Can I be honest with you guys? I just want our guys to play. I want these guys to learn how to win." There is a lot, and here's the kind of the feeling that I got while sitting up on the 6th floor of Memorial Stadium today. Matt Rule is very aware of the feelings towards the offensive coordinator right now.
100%.
Very, very, very aware.
No matter how much he says that they're blocking up the noise, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're not on social media, they know. They all know.
And here's the thing. I mean, you look on CFB stats or you pull up the stat sheet and the box scores. Everybody would have complaints with the offense right now.
Yeah, it's not great.
Even if the expectation isn't high, which I don't think it necessarily is for Nebraska's offense right now, and even coming into the season, the expectation wasn't high for Nebraska. You're not asking Nebraska's offense to be a top 15 offense in the country. You're not asking them to score 40 a game.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not sitting there. If Nebraska is in Penn State's situation right now, where Penn State just fired their offensive coordinator yesterday, they're averaging 37.7 points per game. They're averaging, if you round it up, 38 points per game. Nebraska, how many times have they scored 38 points in a game? Now, here's a little bit of the difference. Here's difference is that, unfortunately, Penn State didn't do all that well. I think they went 5 of 20 combined on third down against Ohio State and Michigan. They scored 15 points against one of the teams. They scored 12 against the other. So against the best teams in the Big Ten Conference, and if you're in Penn State's case, you're the two big dogs, the two other teams that you need to compete for a Big Ten, East Division win, you're not doing the job.
Yeah, it's a Big Ten title if you win that side.
But just 2 weeks ago, you put up 51 points on Maryland, where Nebraska struggled to put up 10. And on the 2 possessions that they did put up points, one of them was off of a fumble where Nebraska got it at the 25-yard line. The other was off of an incredibly acrobatic and impressive interception by Javen Wright.
The toe tap.
The toe tap with his left foot at the 31. And out of one of those, you got a touchdown. Out of the other, you got a field goal. Nebraska, they showed the ability, especially when Chubba Purdy came in, and even when Jeff Sims came in for a decent chunk of the time, that they were able to move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But the capitalizing, the red zone offense, just it's even if you want to go an extension of the red zone, like the opponent's 40-yard line and in, Nebraska just looks not capable of doing anything.
When the field shrinks, Nebraska doesn't have enough confidence in their power running game to stick with it. So they try to get cute and start passing the ball into small windows where their quarterbacks struggle to throw the ball regardless, whether the window is small or whether the window is big. So when Nebraska gets into a situation where the field is shrunk and they need to make a play, they're not sure what they're going to do. And instead of maybe lean on the running game that got you down the field, again, they, for whatever reason, don't have the confidence in their power running game to just line up and push somebody out of the way. So for some reason, they decided we should pass to throw them off, maybe a little trying to outsmart the opponent, and they're outsmarting themselves, or they're getting a little too cute for their own good. And they end up they've turned the ball over so many times, throwing the ball into the end zone. It's ridiculous. There have been so many different times where you've had the ball in very, very plus territory, and you've decided instead of maybe running the ball or throwing the ball where nobody can get it, I guess, you throw it into coverage and it gets intercepted.
It was interesting because he mentioned multiple times, and I will say Matt Rule today went on a couple of rants that kind of continued and went on, and he kind of, I should say, threw a disclaimer out there of how, hey, every question he's asked, there's so many layers to it, and he's like, I just want to explain every layer and go in depth.
Trying to go through everything.
But now here's the deal. There was a question on fans being critical, right? Because, and I mentioned just a few minutes ago that it's very obvious and apparent Matt Rule is aware of the conversations being had about his offensive coordinator. It was very obvious today. I mean, the amount of times that he wanted to make sure that it was him taking the blame, and that people knew that this is not the offensive coordinator's issue. This is not the defensive coordinator's issue. This is not special teams. It's a him issue. Was kind of, I mean, it got to the point where I was like, okay, dude, we get it. Because he was asked also about fans being critical. And he said, quote, where's that worked out? We're just firing assistant coaches and coordinators. So we want the whole offensive staff so we want the whole offense to start over again. I'm not doing that. So unofficially,
nobody's leaving.
All of this talk around Marcus Satterfield and Nebraska's offense goes for naught. And we've seen it maybe in years past where coaches are quick to fire assistants, but it's also a very sticky situation because you don't want to be loyal to a fault to where your career and your tenure goes down with you anchored to a boat.
I do agree with Rule in that aspect where it is year one. They are learning a new offense. Everything is new. They've had a boatload of injuries. So I do agree that like you can't just look at this year one and just say, well, this didn't work. Let's try something completely different next season. I agree with that. But he's going to have to be careful if it doesn't work out again next season. And again, that's a while away. We don't have to worry about that right now. We're worried about the here and the now. But if it doesn't work out again next season, then, you're in that situation where like, okay, maybe if we would have done this last year, again, whatever. I lost my train of thought for a second there. Hold on. If we would have done this last year and there were better offensive coordinators on the market than there are next year, again, if they decide to move on from Satterfield, if it doesn't work out, you're going to be looking at yourself and you're like, man, you're going to be kicking yourself saying like, man, I guess maybe we should have done that. But it's year one. It's a new offense. They're learning it all. They've dealt with injuries to their starting quarterback where he missed some games. You brought in your backup. He played well enough to win some games. And now he's turning the ball over. He's having issues. Your starter can't seem to hold on to the ball at all. And now your third string turns the ball over and is banged up. It's really just a turnover issue, I think. I don't know how good this offense would be if it weren't for the fact that they lead the nation in turnovers. Like you look at some of these plays, you look at some of the, even the play where Chuba throws the interception. I know some people want to say, hindsight's 2020. You look back, you should have run the ball. They weren't having a lot of success inside the 20 running the ball. Again, they don't have any confidence in their power running game for whatever reason. So they decided to throw the ball. It was there. The play was there. There was some miscommunication. Something messed up somewhere along the line, and it led to an interception. The play calls aren't all that bad. It's just the way that things are getting executed.
Here is the full quote from Matt Rule today. The answer in life sometimes is always just to change everything, right? Players want to transfer. Everybody wants their head coach to fire everybody. Has that worked out here? Rule said. Where has that worked out? Just firing assistant coaches and coordinators. So we want the whole offense to start over again with a whole new language next year. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. We're going to get through year one, okay? Most of our guys on offense are coming back. We'll get better and better and better. That's exactly what it is. He said, what's the answer? The answer is just to keep getting a little bit better as best I can and hope that this week we put it all together. It's just once again, this is, we're learning more about how Matt Rule somewhat operates when frankly adversity is, strikes the program, because this is really the first week to where it's been the conversations surrounding Marcus Satterfield are as loud as they are.
Because it was loud,
so bad.
There was loud Satterfield conversations in previous weeks, but they were winning those games.
And that's the thing is, so you're figuring out ways to win Saturday. Well, and frankly, also the last 2 weeks, you feel like games. Those were 2 games that Nebraska, despite everything, even if you want to include the turnovers, even if you want to include the defense, not necessarily taking a step back, just maybe not being as dominant, and people are going to push back and say, Nick, they held, Michigan State to X amount of points. They held Maryland to 13. What more do you want? And I completely agree with you there. I'm talking from a fundamental standpoint. The tackling in space wasn't as sharp as it normally is last Saturday. They gave up some third down and long plays to the Terrapins, and that's going to happen against better offenses. So I'm fully aware of that. At no point here am I making a case to defend that the offense or that the defense needs to do more. I'm not saying that at all. Mm-hmm. But even through all of that, Nebraska still was in an opportunity to where they could walk away victorious through everything, and they just didn't execute. It's each week there's more and more examples of stuff not working, stuff not being executed well, to where I also think today Matt Rule kind of, whether this was on purpose, whether this was accidental, said something along the lines of like, the turnovers aren't happening in practice. And like, I sit here and I go, okay, well, if the turnovers aren't happening in practice and they're happening in games, I'm not sure what, like at some point players just got to execute.
Do you know why the turnovers aren't happening in practice? Because, and this is going to sound a little mean, the defense isn't very good at forcing turnovers.
Well, and I suppose to an extent they've gotten better. I mean, Nebraska's defense has punched the ball out a couple of times. Excuse me. It just feels like, excuse me. It just feels like, unfortunately, despite Nebraska forcing turnovers the few times that they do, they have to make up so much ground so that way in the box score or in the turnover margin category, it actually looks like they're making a difference.
Yeah, you'll force two turnovers.
Yeah, I was saying Nebraska will force 2 turnovers, which is, pretty good.
You would take
would take it. But if Nebraska's going to commit 4 or 5 and you're going to finish the game -2 or -3,
doesn't help.
It doesn't do anything for you.
You get 2 extra possessions, but you're also giving the other team 3 extra possessions. Like it's ridiculous.
So unfortunately, I just think when you look at Nebraska, just kind of from once again the 5,000-foot view being up in Memorial Stadium, and you could really hear it throughout the press conference. And I'm excited to get Austin and Strick's thoughts in the crossover. Is that he was very, very, very stern on this. It's my fault. Everything that goes wrong is on me. I want to take all the blame. I'm the head coach. Don't blame my assistants. Don't blame my players. And yes, that's something you can respect. But I think also Husker fans are like, okay, what's next? Like, what is going to happen? Because something needs to change, whether that's identifying talent in the portal and bringing them in, and that's using resources such as facilities that you're gonna pay a couple $100 million to, whether that's NIL that you're asking for donations to every single game day, whether it's Husker basketball, whether it's Husker football, whatever the case may be.
It's everywhere.
Use every resource, and as we've seen maybe this year, is that they invested resources into the wrong players. Which means identifying the wrong guys is something that happened this year.
And look, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen every year. You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss every year.
You need to hit more than you miss.
Exactly, or at least you need to hit in the right places.
Yes.
But I respect the hell out of Rule for sitting up there at the podium and accepting all the shots, taking all the shots, saying this is on me. This is on me. I'm the reason this happened. Yada yada, etc. But at a certain point. It's not on the head coach anymore. And this isn't blame. This is just an observation. This is not blame. After a certain point, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator need to take that next step, and they need to get their players on the right pages. The position coaches need to make sure their players are prepared and ready for that Saturday, and that they're not going to fumble the ball. They're not going to run the wrong route. They're not going to throw an interception. They're not going to miss a block. They're not going to fall down and do whatever. They have to make sure that they're ready for that situation, and the players need to take ownership of the moment. You need to be in that moment on that Saturday and try a little harder, make a little extra effort, hold on to the ball a little bit tighter, make an extra read, keep your eyes down. Like, there's so many different things that a player needs to do on their own that a coach will either tell you over and over again in practice that you need to do that. But once you get on that field, doesn't matter how many times they've told you, you have to do it. The players need to take that ownership and take that next step and be themselves, lead this team with their actions.
So here's what's fascinating. Here's the full transcript from Matt Rule, and this was once again just one question. I think Matt Rule today was asked 1 or 2 questions on Wisconsin. I mean, I don't remember the second one. I think he was just asked 1, and it was the last question of it. He had talked about, he had made mention of, we're excited to go up to Madison. We're excited to play on national TV. I don't know Luke Fickell that well, yada, yada, yada. But a specific question regarding this week's opponent, there wasn't a whole lot of conversation about that. And it was a lot of what's next? What's the adjustment after this week? Because now here you are through 10 games. Through 10 games, right? 5-5.
Yes.
And there's been little to no adjustment offensively. And when we talk about this, we're mostly speaking offense. We're mostly speaking offense. So the question that was asked by Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald was, quote, when people are critical of Marcus Satterfield as offensive coordinator, what do you want them, fans, us, or anyone to consider when they put it on him specifically, both as a quarterback coach and a coordinator, because Marcus Satterfield is the quarterback coach. You'll remember he was initially designed as the tight ends coach, and then they brought in Bob Wager. Bob Wager got in trouble with some legal stuff and driving under the influence prior to the season. Josh Martin then gets elevated, and Satterfield coaches quarterbacks. And Matt Rule said this, and I've already read the big part of it, so I'm not going to read that part again. But it says fans should do that. I have no problem with that. Fans should be critical of me. Fans should be critical of Sat. For me to start, quote, we got this many guys hurt. That's not who I am. I think in year one, with as many injuries as we've had, different things that have happened, like we've never made an excuse. We showed up each week and we battled and we're in every game and we have a chance to be in every game. I think our guys are fighting their tails off. He says, some of you guys that get on, so Marcus is fighting and scratching and punching and willing to get this thing as good as we can get it. That's what all the guys are doing. It was, once again, a little bit more than a 3-minute answer on that question specifically. And it was just really fascinating to hear, frankly, the first time this season. This is the first time in Matt Rule's time at Nebraska that, hey, assistant coaches are kind of under fire here. And we're seeing and we're learning and we're gathering information and intel on how Matt Rule is going to respond to things like that. And ultimately, we found out today that he's going to put all of the blame on himself. It'll be fascinating, though, going forward in years to come, that is, when we look big picture and we look, down the road. Okay, how long does Matt Rule stick with a guy? How quick does he make changes? Because all signs indicate, and through what he said, once again, to where, so we want the whole offense to start over with a whole new language? I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. I mean, unofficially saying, hey, Marcus Satterfield's going to be here next year, whether fans like it or not.
Yeah, he unofficially just said the offense.
There's no changes. The only way there's changes
is if they leave.
Are if they leave or legal troubles. That's the only way. And so now
if they leave, or I have to.
That doesn't mean that we can't criticize or question things with Marcus Satterfield, and I believe we'll hear from the offensive coordinator tomorrow. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the answer. Nebraska's offense is going to have the same coordinator next year. And I think Nebraska fans sometimes, yes, what we've seen on Saturdays this year through 10 games is incredibly frustrating, right? But don't forget where Nebraska's kind of been offensive coordinator-wise over the last couple of years. And it's been Troy Walters, Matt Lubick, Mark Whipple, and now here you are with another one. And so you're talking about just a lot of guys that have not been able to figure it out, and they haven't had more than 1 or 2 years to do so.
Stability is nice.
And I think
stability goes a long way.
Stability goes a
some
long
of these
way.
players.
Stability goes a long way. And then also, just we're so quick to always say they don't have an identity, and maybe that's on like me personally for saying, well, they don't have an identity. Well, I guess they've only been here less than a year.
It's hard to put
so
an identity.
I get that. Like it's frustrating because we're not really seeing it, and what they're saying is not really matching up. And I don't know if I'm trying to like talk myself off a ledge or what. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. It's just, I guess the point of it is that at the end of the day, Marcus Satterfield is going to be Nebraska's coordinator, whether or not Husker fans like it.
I think you're trying to talk yourself into that.
Yeah, here he is. He's going to be the offensive coordinator next year. It was also interesting. He mentioned Elijah Robinson, who is the defensive line coach at Texas A&M. He was now named the interim head coach after Jimbo Fisher got fired. Yeah, got paid.
It's not even. He just got paid up front.
Yeah, got paid. So with that, don't forget, Nebraska fans, that was a guy Nebraska was rumored to try to get to be as their D-line coach over once Matt Rule got here. And he actually said it. He was straight up like, I tried to hire him, and he didn't want to leave A&M. And so there you go. He was trying to get Elijah Robinson here at Nebraska. But
I think I'm okay with Nebraska's defensive line coach right now.
Shout out to Pot Roast.
I think I'm okay with it.
Terrence Knighton. There he is. All right, let's go ahead and let's take our first time out. When we come back, we're going to dive more into some of the stuff that Matt Rule had to say today. And then we'll also talk Husker volleyball. And then guess what? Nebraska men's basketball has a game tonight. Women's have a game tomorrow. But we'll talk more about the men's game tonight as they face Rider. Rider, a 1-1 team. They have beaten a college or a university by the name of Immaculata. Immaculata.
I've not heard of them.
Yeah, so they beat them early in their first game of the year, and then got the doors blown off by number 4 Marquette last week.
Yeah,
and
that'll happen.
Yep, that'll happen.
Rider was picked as the favorite in whatever conference they're in.
Is that right?
Conference. Yeah, I read that somewhere.
But you don't know the conference.
I do not.
Okay, so Rider comes to Lincoln, and they will end up playing the Huskers tonight. Tip off for that one's at 7 p.m. tonight. We'll talk more about that. Talk Husker volleyball and dive right back into football as well. 402-464-5685, the number to call and text. Love to hear from you guys the entire show. I definitely want to read. We have about 12, 15 texts or so. And we'll dive into all that and more when we come back right here on the Happy Hour. Shout out to Empire Fence and Netting for their support as always. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The holidays are drawing closer, and there's not many things better than getting the gift of relaxation. Not just for yourself, but for anyone in your life. During November, for every service you get at the Body Shop, you get entered into their drawing for a free massage gift certificate equal to your last service. This goes all the way to the week before Christmas, so book your appointments now at thebodyshoplincoln.com and treat yourself and loved ones today. The Body Shop at 48th and A.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com. Pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. If you're looking for more affordability and streamlined, you're probably better off with a Remington home. Our goal there is to give you a good product for the right price in budget.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. It's glow time. See club for details.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know the new Honda sales are going really good right now at Honda of Lincoln, and with that, a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in. Can you tell our listeners about your pre-owned selection?
I'm happy to, Charlie. Like you said, with new Honda sales going very good, we have a lot of fresh trade-ins coming in daily, and not just Hondas. We have just about every maker model you can imagine, with over 100 pre-owned and certified pre-owned to choose from, and prices starting at just $5,900.
Wow, what about financing?
We have financing as low as 3.29% APR on certified Accords and CRV.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brandt is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brandt Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrandtExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brandt Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brandt.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today. Found in most local grocery stores.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We kind of buried the lead, I guess, on the Nebraska football press conference because the Marcus Satterfield stuff kind of took control there. Matt Rule started the press conference by giving an update on Nebraska's quarterback situation.
Yeah, it's great.
Heinrich Harburg has a, quote, pretty good ankle sprain. Chuba came out of the game kind of banged up, I guess, after the one drive. And then Jeff Sims is healthy. What?
What you said that?
Well, I mean, the guy's hurt. He's always hurt.
A little banged up after a one drive.
I mean, it's going to be Jeff Sims and then Luke Longville.
Okay. Jack Wosh?
Jack Wosh, maybe. I just
Jack Wosh won a national title.
I'm not trying to question health. I'm not. And maybe we'll see Chuba on Saturday. It sounds like this is going to be a decision that kind of comes down to kickoff on Saturday at 6:30.
Who's taking snaps from the number one quarterback or number one center?
And not to mention, I was going through some of the numbers for quarterbacks.
Shout out to Ben Scott.
And how about these? How about this number for Jeff Sims?
Don't think I want to hear it.
You don't. Jeff Sims has led 26 drives and he's turned it over 12 of them, which is good for a nice little 47% of the time.
Okay. Did they score in the other?
Even if they did. Well, here's this. Jeff Sims and Chuba Purdy have thrown 1 touchdown and 10 interceptions this season combined. 1 touchdown, 10 INTs for Jeff Sims and Chuba Purdy.
Chuba only has one of those.
Chuba does only have one. He only has one.
But he also has none of the touchdowns.
Yeah. Okay, like here's the thing. It's hard. I'm not trying to laugh at it.
It's all you can do.
But like that's what you have to do right now because
laughter is pain leaving the body.
It is. And I have to get it out of me before I watch another game on Saturdays because I know that the pain's going to enter the body again. And so like here's the thing. You look at Nebraska's quarterback situation and you kind of just have to like laugh off to the side and privately of like the amount of guys that are missing from the roster, from the field, is just kind of, I don't want to say it's comical because that's not I'm not trying to laugh at the injuries, but you guys get what I'm saying.
It's ridiculous. The offensive,
it's bonkers.
The offensive numbers, and I'm not talking about yards per play or touchdowns. The offensive numbers in terms of people who are missing because of injuries, turnovers, passing yards, rushing yards, touchdown, like all of the numbers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
You have to laugh.
Here's what's also, I mean, the better way, and Swift from Lincoln said this, 402-464-5685. Are you really feeling much better if they have to play Heinrich Harburg? Not the same guys as he was earlier in the season.
I'm not feeling good about anything.
And that's what my point is. Going into Saturday and going throughout the rest of the year.
Unless we put Emmett Johnson at quarterback.
I'm not sure that, like, we're hearing for Chuba Purdy to start on Saturday. Like, that's a possibility, I guess, as long as he's not hurt. But he's banged up. So you look at Saturday, and I don't know if Husker fans really believe that Chuba Purdy is a better quarterback. I don't know. Like, nobody knows if he's a better quarterback. I think the reason Husker fans are shouting his name from the rooftop saying, please start Chuba Purdy, is because we haven't seen him mess up.
Is because he's not Jeff Sims or Heinrich Harburg.
And we haven't seen him mess up this year.
Except for the interception.
It's like just this hope of, well, it was a good play call. That's what Matt Rule said.
It what? Look, hey, it was
just not executed well.
It was.
But back to the point. That's where you're at, is that people are wanting other guys to start just on this little bit of hope that maybe he won't mess up as bad or as much.
Still here.
And so, because you kind of, I mean, you kind of know what you're going to get with Jeff Sims. You kind of know that what you're going to get with Heinrich Harburg now. And there's like this uncertainty, but also a little bit of optimism. Hey, Chuba Purdy, he might come in and kind of take over and take this thing by the reins, and he'll be our future.
It's one of those where you're sitting there and
in reality now.
You're sitting there and you're going, it can't get much worse. What's he going to do? Turn the ball over?
Here's another thing. And Rob in Des Moines, that's an interesting point. Rob from Des Moines says this. Nebraska definitely knows right now who will start Saturday. I believe Rule is not letting Wisconsin know in any way who could start. We need every advantage we can get. I get that, Rob. I'll be honest, though. Like, whether the defense plans for a certain quarterback or not plan for a certain quarterback, I think Nebraska's just got to get out of their own way.
You know what Wisconsin's going to do?
I mean, if Nebraska walks away from Saturday's game here, and whether they win or lose, hypothetically speaking, let's say they fall to the Badgers in Madison, right? But they fall in terms of like hey, it's a 17-14 game. You had 0 turnovers. It was a clean game all around. Wisconsin didn't turn over the ball. You didn't turn over the ball. You've continued this trend of limiting penalties. Nebraska's only had 1 penalty their last 2 games combined.
That's
and
crazy.
It came on a late game pass interference play where Tommy Hill kind of got beat down the side. Like, if that continues, you're going to walk away and go like, okay, cool. Okay, Nebraska, I'm okay with you losing that game because you tip your cap and say, you know what, you just got better than us, but we didn't beat ourselves.
I mean, you're not okay, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
At this point, like, Nebraska could throw or tell Wisconsin, hey, we're going to start this guy, and Wisconsin can scout for him and all, But the scout doesn't matter if you're just going to fumble the ball.
You know what Wisconsin's going to do? They're going to prepare for Jeff Sims because you don't have film on Jack Wosh. You don't have film on Luke Longville, and you barely have any film on Chubba Purdy.
Jack Wosh, unfortunately, probably won't play.
You are
Luke
scouting
Longville
for,
is also in front of Jack Wosh.
You
on
are
the depth chart.
You are scouting for Jeff Sims. You are preparing for Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
And really, if you're Wisconsin or Iowa, what you're doing is you're going to load the box and you're going to go man-to-man on every wide receiver that's out there.
And you hope that Jeff Sims starts.
And you're saying, go ahead, pass it. I dare you.
Please don't pass. Let's just make this a 3-0 game.
Please don't pass.
Please don't pass. Please. I mean, and Craig said that. Craig says, bleep the quarterback. It's Wildcat time.
Remember
guys,
that game we watched?
You know how many videos are popping up on my phone right now and on my social media of 2009 Nebraska football to where they had it's
2010.
Maybe it was 2010.
Rex Burkhead, Amir Abdullah. Or not, Roy Halou.
Yes.
Yeah.
But throughout Rex Burkhead's career, he threw a lot of passes.
Wasn't he a quarterback in high school for a little bit?
I don't know where he was at in Plano, but nonetheless, I mean, throughout many situations, it was just like Rex Burkhead, take the snap, Roy Halou, line up next to Rex, and nobody's going to stop us.
One of you is going to run it, and you're going to get at least 5 yards. That's our plan.
And that was it. Worked. It worked. Nebraska Big 10 or Big 12 title game appearances in 2009 and 2010. So I mean, yeah, Craig, that kind of hits home.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
Once again, 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Jesse the plumber says quarterback play has been so poor it's hard to get a read on Satterfield, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Big Bird says I feel like we have failed to see the quarterback position to get better at all. I'll also argue that it's somewhat regressed. I mean, not many people are mentioning that. Like I looked at it as the quarterback position somewhat regressed as the season went on. The quarterback play, the decisions, obviously the turnovers, it's gotten worse and worse as the season's gone on. And you would like to see that pretty much reversed, I guess.
They're thinking too much.
So I think when you look at just Nebraska's offense, unfortunately,
it's taken a step back.
It's taken a step back.
You know who hasn't taken a step back? Nebraska volleyball.
There you go. We do have to get to break though, Rico. It's 1:46. We got to get to break. We'll talk Husker volleyball right when we come back.
All right.
Right when we come back. Let's talk Husker volleyball. They got some big ones tonight, or not tonight, this weekend.
Yes.
This weekend, I meant. They had some big matches over the weekend. Somewhat of a little bit of a scare with Illinois for a moment because they dominated sets 1 and 2.
It was ridiculous.
Fell in set 3, 26-24, and it was close there for a short time in set 4. And so we'll talk all that and more coming up next, as well as recapping weekend picks with Austin and Strick right when we come back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
It takes a great game plan to win a football game each week, and right now, it's time to plan a trip to get a new car at Mullen Motors. Just like on the football field, there's a wall of defense on the way to Mullen Motors. 48th Street is under construction from Layton all the way to Cornhusker Highway. But the lot at Mullen Motors is full of tons of great vehicles to drive home this fall for the ultimate touchdown. Mullen Motors, still open through road construction at 48th and Walker.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrantExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brand!
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today. Found in most local grocery stores. Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air,
and Electrical.
Celebrate Thanksgiving this year with Venue Restaurant and Lounge and Venue at Home with our Thanksgiving to-go meal packages. Our packages include sliced turkey breasts and roasted gravy, herb stuffing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, a harvest salad, and more, with add-on options to upgrade your feast, including smoked ham, prime rib, sides, appetizers, and desserts. You choose delivery right to your home or pick up at our Venue at Home storefront. Order today at holidaysbyvenue.net. That's holidaysbyvenue.net.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine, maybe a bit breezy this afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see a high of around 68. Tonight, we'll see clear skies that go along with the breeze. Otherwise, we'll see a low around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. That wind will continue. We'll see a high around 68. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I'm leaving people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Huh?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now, we can't read this text on air, but 7943, that is a very, very interesting text.
It's a good question.
It is a very good question.
If it's true.
How about this also? Latex Mallard from MySpace asks, can any of the volleyball girls throw a decent 10-yard pass? It would be nice to bring a winner into the locker room. MJ Sherman's on this team.
So they throw the little mini volleyballs out into the crowd before every game. The starters do.
Lady Choboy ran it up to somebody else.
She ran it up to somebody, but you know who?
She's an option quarterback.
You know who had a pretty good arm?
Hey, that'd be kind of fun.
Harper Murray.
She can do everything.
Chucked it.
Still dating Heiner Carberg.
Launched it.
Sure.
I would hope so. That'd be kind of awkward if I just said that. Anyway, Nebraska women's volleyball. Rico, we're going to get to weekend picks here in a second. Rico, take it away. Tell the folks about Husker volleyball.
Nebraska volleyball moves to 25-0, 16-0, I believe, right, in the Big Ten Conference? Yeah, sure. 16-0 in the Big Ten Conference.
Tough against Penn State because Penn State jumped out 2 games on them.
Yeah,
and
but
they come back on that one.
But they came back on that one.
Yeah.
But somebody who didn't come back on that one, Wisconsin, over the weekend.
They sure did, and I saw
Penn
that.
State in 4 sets. They didn't have their big middle and a Schmeck. Doesn't matter. They now have 2 losses in the Big Ten Conference. So what that means, doing a little quick maths, Nebraska, if they take care of business against Michigan, if they take care of business against Iowa, the worst that they can do after that, if they lose their final 2 games to Wisconsin and Minnesota, is a share of the Big Ten title, which they have not gotten in quite some time. Now, if they take care of business against Michigan, Iowa, let's say they lose to Wisconsin at Wisconsin on Black Friday, then they beat Minnesota, who they have to play the next day, right after the Wisconsin match, which sucks, but that's what you got to do. They beat Minnesota, they win the Big Ten outright. You still want to beat Wisconsin, obviously. They'll still end up as a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. But last night against Illinois, took care of business in the first 2 sets, really nothing doing. 25-14, both sets. Third set comes around, they come out of the break, and Illinois is firing on all cylinders. Raina Terry, I think their left side, their outside hitter, just siding out everything. Anytime Nebraska would get a point, she's right there getting another point. She's siding out everything. She finished with 20 kills. She hit like 140 something, so it wasn't a great percentage, but she was just hitting everything, getting points left and right. And Illinois takes the third set. Fourth set comes around. Nebraska, Illinois are going back and forth, and really kind of the changing point, but really just the number 1 play on SportsCenter Top 10. Lainey Choboy dives into the student section, ends up about a row and a half deep, saves it, brings it back. Lexi Rodriguez hits it back over the net. And then Illinois comes with their counterattack, and it gets blocked by Becca Alec and Harper Murray for the point. Nebraska goes on to coast, wins that 4th set, wins the match in 4. A big match from the middles. Becca Alec finished with, I believe, 12 kills in that one. 12 kills.
She had a stretch where she went nuts.
Yeah, 12 kills on
5 straight.
3 or 4 blocks. She's really coming into her own again this season. The beginning of the season started a little rough for her. She's really coming into her own. Andy Jackson is doing her thing.
The brothers encompassed.
Maybe that's why. This was the first game that Josiah Alec missed. First game. I think they were doing a shoot around. They have a game today, whatever. But the middles, which is something that John Cook has mentioned quite a bit. He wants to set the middle, but it's really important to get that perfect pass from whoever is receiving the serve or digging the kill. If they get that perfect pass and they get it to the right spot, Bergen Riley can really set up those middles, and that opens up the outside. The outsides weren't hitting very well. Both Harper and Merritt hit in like the low 170s, I think, and which wasn't great for them, but the middles kind of saved the day, and Nebraska coasts to another victory again. Third set loss, which was a little concerning, but they're good. Again, 25-0, 16-0 in the Big Ten, looking like a hopefully potential Big Ten championship team.
So there you go. There's volleyball. Let's talk. I'm calculating weekend picks right now, guys. Bless you.
Thank you.
Calculating weekend picks.
Well, let's talk about Duke going down to Arizona.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Let's
you
do
had
it.
to sneeze on it.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk, because I want to talk Duke, and then I want to talk Nebraska basketball tonight against Rider. First of all, let's talk Duke. Arizona now ranked 3rd in the AP poll.
Big jump for them. 9 spots. Duke went down 7, which I don't quite understand. That was a game between number 2 and number 12. So to basically have them trade places, I don't really get. Michigan State from 4 to 18. I also don't fully understand. I think that's a little overreactive. But again, it doesn't matter until you get to the end of the year. 5-point loss for Duke. Kyle Filipowski in foul trouble in the first half. Duke won his minutes. I'm not too worried about that. I think he'll be able to stay out of foul trouble. But I've said this all offseason. I'll continue to say it. Duke's got to shoot better than what it has. It's not huge. They don't have a rim protector. So their guards aren't the most athletic, but they're pretty long. So they have to get in passing lanes and be disruptive. They really weren't on defense. The shooting has to come around. And you got to credit Tommy Lloyd, too. I don't know if you guys remember, but the 2018-19 team, the Zion RJ Cam team, faced something very similar to what Tommy Lloyd did. He dropped Omar Ballo, who's a terrible matchup for this team because Ryan Young plays no post defense. Kyle Filipowski's too skinny. Ballo's just a monster. They parked him under the rim to protect it, just like UCF did with Taco Fall, who they had guarding Trey Jones. Ryan Young's not going to stretch the floor like that. Can't even take, a dribble or two in and hit a pull-up jumper. So Duke's going to have to get creative. I'm sure that's not the last time they'll see a strategy like that against a beefy boy in the middle like Omar Ballo throughout the rest of the regular season. But I think Michigan State's a better matchup for that team. And there are plenty more marquee non-conference opportunities on the way. Michigan State tomorrow night. You go to Arkansas for a game, and then you play Baylor at Madison Square Garden. So would have liked to have won it. Was a close game. I don't think Duke played anywhere up to its potential, but you still saw some positive flashes. So I ain't tripping about it.
Well, can I ask a question, though?
Please.
What's your initial thoughts about Caleb Love as far as his transferring down to Arizona? How did he look? How did he feel to you? Yeah,
Caleb Love was doo-doo.
Yeah.
He was bad. Did not shoot well, turned the ball over 6 times, was not the reason Arizona won that game. Had a couple, nice shots and some big moments. So I think he was entirely motivated by spite and revenge. Duke was his dream school growing up. They didn't pursue him nearly as hard, so he goes to Carolina. He was never efficient against Duke, but his teams kept him in the game just long enough for him to hit a big shot or make a big play at the end. So I don't think he's good. I think he just happened to get the win against Duke.
That's really strange when you think about it. Grew up a Duke fan, goes to Carolina.
He felt spited.
There it is.
You know how spited you have to feel to go to a school that you grew up not liking?
Yeah. Arizona with a tough test against Southern tonight.
Oh boy, they better watch out.
Southern California?
Just Southern. 31 and a
Baby
half.
blue and yellow.
Southern Alabama?
Just Southern.
Southern Florida.
Southern
Dakota.
Speaking of tests, Nebraska faces Ryder this evening. 7 p.m. tip-off. Games on the Big Ten Network tonight. Nebraska 2-0 on the season. You feel pretty good about Nebraska's chances, not only tonight, but throughout the rest of non-con, right? Like that December 3rd matchup against Creighton is looming, obviously, in a couple of weeks. And while you still have to take care of business this week, like, you feel good that Nebraska's going to be in a pretty good spot by then because of how they've come out and won the first 2 games in the fashion that they are supposed to win them by.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're off to a great start, especially not having and being at full strength at this point.
Yeah.
So they're getting a chance to throw and see different lineups at different times. They're getting a chance to work through kinks. They're getting a chance to evaluate the style of play. But the one thing that's intact is the culture that they've built on defense, and they're moving as a one unit. They're syncopated in the way that they're dealing with each other and helping each other. Mm-hmm. And you can tell they're locked in on scouting reports. They had to be, because you looked at the last game, when you think of what Creighton had did to them on the offensive glass, they did the same. And, that's good to see that you could tell that there is some lock-in as far as how they're going to attack the game. And they did that and ended up coming out with a nice victory.
You want to know an interesting? So the Gavitt tip-off games are starting tonight in college basketball. They're one of the Gavitt tip-off games. Michigan at St. John's tonight. So that's a 5:30 p.m. tip on Fox Sports 1. Michigan picked low to finish low in the Big Ten Conference. Juwan Howard, it's fascinating what's going on there, because they bring in Juwan Howard from the Miami Heat, right? And you feel, okay, he's gonna be able to turn this thing around, and he's had decent amount of success. They lose Caleb Love after he initially goes to Michigan. They lose Hunter Dickinson, who then transfers out to Kansas.
He's doing pretty well.
I mean, you look at Michigan. I don't know. I haven't gotten a pulse. I haven't gotten a pulse on Michigan men's basketball.
Oh, you're not in Ann Arbor?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. But I would be like,
oh, you got a pulse on their football team though.
And
Jim Harbaugh's eating chicken again,
and they got a pulse on everybody. Michigan's got a pulse on everybody.
Bro, listening to Harbaugh and listening to whoever their assistant, I forget their assistant coach's name.
Sharon Moore.
Yeah, Sharon Moore.
Sharon Moore needs to be careful. Sorry, Rico. He needs to be careful because he is one of the most talented and well-known assistant coaches that have not been given a head coaching opportunity yet. And this was going to be the year. This was going to be the year that he eventually leaves Michigan, and whether it's the Northwestern job, whether it's a Duke job, if Mike Elko takes over, now like Mississippi State,
Michigan State.
I mean, that's the thing. You want to talk about like a potential job?
That would be wild.
That would be so funny.
Like that's where Sharon Moore is.
Mm-hmm.
But if he dies on the sword of like, being loyal to Jim Harbaugh, it'll be real fascinating to see what happens not only to Sherrone Moore, but to all those assistant coaches for Michigan. Go ahead.
No, bro, listening to Harbaugh talk, listening to Moore, listening to all the players talk, you just sit there, and if you didn't know anything about what was going on at Michigan, you'd be like, oh, man, how much longer does Harbaugh have left on this earth?
Yeah.
You
so
thought
sad. Jim Harbaugh
was this is for you, coach.
Away.
This is for you, coach, man. I love you. Man, I love you so much. It's like, man, that sucks, guys.
And he's crying, and then all the memes come out of him crying.
Not the MJ forever meme.
Harbaugh's sitting there, and he's just like, through all the adversity that we face, we're pushing through, we're doing this, we're overcoming this and overcoming that. I'm like, bro, you're suspended 3 games for cheating. Relax.
And same with like the Michigan side of like everybody saying bet
Michigan versus everybody.
How'd that work out for Iowa?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. But once again,
bet.
I'm trying to find just a meme to show
Michigan versus everybody. I'm like,
it's
not you versus everybody. It's you cameras versus everybody. That's what it was.
Yeah, honestly. So once again, 402-464-5685 is the phone number to call and text. All right, gentlemen, what's coming up on the show today?
Well, we got picks.
Yeah. I don't have them calculated.
You're killing me, bro.
You're strict.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Let's see how strict.
What movie is that? You're killing me, Smalls.
I got some of them. Really?
Dang, bro.
I got some of them calculated. I went 5 and 7. Rico went 5 and 11 because he decided to go push.
I don't regret that.
Take the L.
Austin went, let's see, 0 and 1, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 2.
Ooh.
4 and 2, 5 and 2, 6 and 2, 7 and 2,
Ooh.
7 and 3, 7 and 4, 8 and 4. Austin went 8 and 4. How about that?
Good week.
Strick went 0 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 2, 3 and 2, 4 and 2, 4 and 3, 5 and 3, 6 and 3, 6 and 4, 7 and 4, 8 and 4.
Stricky! Let's do it!
All right, we're out of here. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Skurs.
Yes.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.